Todd Hull is a walking miracle. He spent 35 years with various addictions, 25 years addicted to methamphetamine, was in and out of prison multiple times from age 12 to 50. After running into some serious medical issues, he ultimately was able to get sober and begin his life in earnest. He got sober and then had medical issues. Sorry, I will correct that. He's married. He's my husband. And we work together to help others find their way to happy, sober living through quantum solutions. And so the title of our presentation today is 4 Quantum Solutions for a Miracle Lifestyle. And so we will touch on each of those as Todd starts to tell you his story and why it's a quantum solution story.
Is that my cue, dear? Hello,
that is
everybody.
Your cue.
My name is Todd, and I am Cristine's husband. She told a little bit about my past. I used to introduce myself. My name is Todd, and I'm an addict in long-term recovery. I am an addict. I don't identify with that anymore. I won't say I grew out of it. That'll always be where I came from. It's an experience that made me who I am today. It's the growth, but I do believe, as we talk about quantum things and the way I got sober and the way I saved my life, it's about the linguistics and the things you say to yourself, things you put in your head. I do not use the words want, need, gotta have. Those are addictive. If you tell yourself you want, need, or gotta have something, you will always want, need, or gotta have it. You won't go out and get it. You will always be lacking. Those are lacking words. Real quickly, I don't know who Janet Jensen is, but I love her husband's handlebar mustache. That's so freaking far out of topic and subject right now, but I love it. I'm going to work on one of those next and meet my goals. Anyway, you can tell I struggle with ADD, ADHD very badly at a young age. I followed a path because of that led me away from the good kids in school. And I went with the kids that accepted me. Fast forward, I'm 53 years old today, many times in prison. Like Cristine said, I've overdosed many times. I lost a 20-year-old sister while I was in prison, my baby sister. Thank you, Brad Stoker. And 3 years later, my 16-year-old daughter committed suicide. So all these things, just then she was my oldest daughter, all these things kept me in that cycle of addiction. Let's call it a pattern. What it is they're patterns. We do them every day. All of us do these things every day. We have habits, patterns and habits. We live by them. Yours might not be as bad as mine, I hope, but overeating, we can go through a whole list. Overeating, alcoholism, addictions, to everything out there. So many addictions in life. And what I found, and what helped me finally, after going to probably every treatment center in Utah under the thumb of the federal and state probation and parole systems, none of those things worked. CBT didn't work, DBT didn't work, blah, 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 blah. The relapse prevention cycle and recovery cycle didn't work. I knew all those things. I mastered those on the streets, and they weren't working for me. I ended up in 2005 under the federal government's watch. I was at a cool little place called Matter in Mount Pleasant. It's now closed down for sad reasons. But while I was there, I watched a movie called What the Bleep? What the Bleep Do We Know by Joe Dispenza was a star in it, one of the stars. And what I didn't know is at this time, my wonderful wife was watching this somewhere else in her little world. And this was our introduction to quantum physics. So quantum physics is what in essence, is what I attribute my getting sober to, the fact that I could change these habits that I were doing and committing every day. And they're not, like I said, we all have habits. Like I would bet to guarantee all of you on here, when you get in the shower, you start with one arm, the same arm every time. Mine's the left. When you wake up every morning, you put your first foot down first, whatever. If any of you drink coffee, it's the same way every morning, usually the same time. You drive the same way to work. We are creatures of habit, literally. And I think you can all agree upon that. And so what I learned in quantum physics is that we really are all just energy connected in this universe. Every single one of us on the screen right here, every single one of us are energy connected. what I do affects you, what you do affects me, whether you believe that or not, or even know that, it's true. We are the observers of this energy, and when we collapse that as the observer, we see each other, we see our worlds, we see what's going on. It's a lot that I'm still learning, but that's my understanding of it. With that understanding of it, I went back to the Matter program after I did not make it in 2005 and had to go do some hard lessons and learning on the streets again, and lose a few more things and dig a deeper rock bottom, which, by the way, there is no such thing as rock bottom for any of you who want to know about it. If you have a shovel, you will keep digging if you want to find a rock bottom. That was my life. There is no rock bottom. God can help us out of that, and the universe can. I was at Matter a few years ago. Janie Marvin, my mentor, God bless her soul, she passed away last year. This is one of her books. It's hard to see. She's got a little dark on the covers, but very good material. The HHT program and material is what saved my life. Holographic human technology incorporates quantum physics and her beliefs and what she created. 5 books. She's had 5 or 6 books and just tons and tons of stuff on YouTube. All of it which saved my life, helped save my life. When I finally accepted the fact that, hey, I can do these little things like techniques that Janie created, and some of them are weird. They're like a cross with NLP and maybe a little bit of hoodoo magic from Janie, but some of them are literally walking on the ground and putting something in front of you that you would like to achieve or have or manifest, and walking to it and thinking in your mind, I am here, and describing everything about it in your universe and that what that day looks like. And just everything about it. And what I found out was when I started doing these crazy little techniques that I thought were by this witch, Janie Marvin, was my mentor and my best friend in life and like my second mother. I started doing these things and things started happening. I got sober. I couldn't stay off meth for 25 years, you guys. It was bound and determined to kill me. It was going to kill me. It killed everyone around me. 10s to 20s to 30, 50 people I know. So I started doing these techniques, and one day I was doing a transformative technique called the open system, and all these techniques are in her material in her books, and they're for everybody. They're not just for addicts. This is everyday stuff. This is to break the habit of these little habits that we have, all of us. I did a transformative technique called an open system, and afterwards they asked you to go outside, walk around, take it in, and then soon after that, write about it. Well, I went outside and I was walking around the facility. It encompassed a whole block. It's an old military hospital down in Mount Pleasant, Utah. And I'm walking around the building, and I walk up to a tree, and I put my hand on this, had to have been a 100-year-old tree, my right hand, because we learned about grounding. I learned about all these crazy, weird little things that I didn't know about in all my years of addiction. I just thought drugs were the answer. I didn't know you could ground. I didn't know you could meditate, yoga, all these crazy cool things that I incorporate in my life today. But I put my hand on this tree. This is my spiritual awakening, just so everybody knows. This was the big life changer for me. And all of a sudden, in my mind, and all I could see was this big red flag, 2 flags. One was red, one was blue. And this big red flag started lighting up with trillions of dots of energy. Like I explained to you, we all are. And what it showed me immediately was the things that I was doing to obtain my drugs and the horrible crimes I had been committing and things against society to obtain my drugs. And it showed how red and ugly and hot and hurting this flag was, and it just broke my heart. And I said, I don't want any part of that. I immediately turned away from it. And it showed me a blue flag, and it showed me every time I do something for someone, whether it's opening the door for a little old lady, whether it's doing something for my wife, my children, anything I do good, this blue flag lit up, and it gave me the warmth of this white blue in my heart that I will never forget, and I will never turn my back on. I can't. I don't know how more to explain it, but that was my spiritual awakening. I've been in recovery through 3.5 years now, sober 3.5 years. In that 3.5 years, the first year I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I thought it was just from getting my teeth pulled down there in treatment. I thought it was because meth was bad for you, and all those things were part of it. I do believe that it was just the life I was living. I believe cancer is a disease and a result of harmful things, not only in that we put in our body, but that live around us. And Tamara knows a lot about this stuff with EES, and there's many people on here that know about this. And disease is literally caused by 95% of our lifestyles and what we're doing. So 4 months after my treatment, I'm just moving pretty quick here. I'm sorry, I have ADD. I speak real quick. I'm still working on being that public speaking guy, but it's hard for me to get the words out. I polluted my mind with a lot of stuff that slows that process down. So we're practicing. 4 months after, the Huntsman Center, Salt Lake City, Utah, saved my life. I was also introduced to what I just mentioned about Tamara and EES, Energy Enhancement System, bioscalar energy, that brought me back from the cancer. The doctors still at Huntsman today can't figure out why my levels are the way they are. That would not be the end of my journey. Yes, thank you, Tamara. I live an amazing life today, you guys. I'm healthy as a horse. May not look like it, but I am. 4 months after being found, ringing the bell, found to be in remission, I had opened the first EES center in Salt Lake for Janie, Marvin, and Murray. And I was in a Harmon's grocery store doing my little weekly thing, just getting a little groceries for myself because I lived in a sober living. I was doing the deal, getting back into life. And I fell down on my knees and holding my heart. And I say this jokingly, and I use it in my story, but the first thought that came to mind was, thank goodness I'm not going to die in a Walmart. Now, yeah, sorry, that's just my thoughts, my feelings. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in Walmart. I'm not being judgmental, but anyway, thank goodness I'm not going to die in Walmart. Long story short, I was in emergency open heart surgery 4 days later in Salt Lake. Forgot the name of the hospital, South Salt Lake. Anyway, it was called the Widowmaker surgery. I had an aneurysm on my aorta from all my drug use. My heart was enlarged. It was hardened. It was basically too strong, if that makes sense. Like, your heart's not supposed to work that hard. It's supposed to be soft, malleable. You know, it's a muscle, but it's not supposed to be as hard and as large as mine was. So my aneurysm, my aorta took the hit with the aneurysm. They said, we don't even know how you're here. Once again, another testament of, I'm supposed to be here. Why am I doing this to my body? Went to the open heart surgery a couple months later, which was in 2022, which Cristine is talking about. I found myself online on all the wrong dating sites. I won't go into really what happened to me because it's kind of funny. I don't know if Cristine has written about this. I've written about it. It'll be part of my book someday, but it just wasn't working on all the dating sites, you guys. I hated dating sites, but I was really lonely. I wanted love. All I wanted in this life was just to love somebody and them to love me in return. My whole life. After the wrong dating sites, as I was ready to click off my phone, a dating site for some reason came up that said silver singles. Well, lo and behold, I had just turned 50 years old and I qualified for a silver single. I will not still admit that today. I'm 53 and I still do not admit to being silver. I refuse it. What I didn't know is on another side, or in another part of the state, up in Cass Valley, Utah, a pretty little blonde girl was signing up for a dating site after she had gone through what she'd gone through that was called Educated Singles. Now, that's just the funniest thing you ever heard if you think about my past and my history. Educated singles and silver singles. That's how Cristine and I met. That's her story. I think it's in the book. I won't give away too much of it. But that's how we met, and that's been my path and my journey since. And Cristine has created, by the way, the joke is that Cristine brings the letters and I bring the numbers. This is our yin and yang. She's got all the letters behind her name and I bring all the numbers. She's got quite a few prison, jail numbers. Anyway, that's the joke. I will identify with that just out for the humor.
Yes.
So here we are today. I don't know what I missed. I went through things very quickly. I get excited about this. I still love sharing in treatment centers. I still love spreading hope. That is my journey in life. I'm deeply involved in a lot of spiritual journeys. I'm in school. I'm working on a business degree, per se, business certificate, mostly just to get out of Cristine's hair so she can do things like this. And I appreciate
Let's segue to crown right here. So
Okay.
Todd says he
Yeah.
goes into his spot in school, like he's in this applied technology setting, and he's got his own little it's a pretty good setup. You got two computer screens, and anyway, but I didn't realize this is where he had his crown oil. So we'll go back to about a year ago. He and I would have a little bit of a challenge here and there, and he was trying to quit nicotine, right? And so he went from smoking before he met me to vaping right before he met me, I think. And he was down to, where was it zen or was it, no, it was snus or those little packs.
It was snus. It was snus and then zen, to be honest. And just to be truly honest, I think I've told this to Cristine before, but like I was traveling from Draper up to Logan to Hiram here to see Cristine, and there was times I was still having a cigarette here or there. Like I could not shake the nicotine, and I did not realize the demons that come with the nicotine. They're horrible. Like meth and bath salt, yeah, those things were way up here, but nicotine was just as bad for me, and I couldn't shake it. And Cristine talks about crown.
There actually were entities around him. We
went to some healers and found entities, and I got mine in my pocket. This is actually going to be for a friend of mine who is burying her 34-year-old daughter today. Later on, we're going to a funeral. Sorry to
that's the reason we had to move the schedule. Is we're headed to a funeral. Yes, yeah. I'm so
anyway, yes, the crown. So I would rub this on my head and smell it, and I still do it daily. Use it daily. It helped me quit the nicotine, helped me quit vaping, helped me quit all the habits that were keeping my crown chakra closed. And learning what
it was reversed. So a crown chakra is meant to go clockwise, and that means you're connected to source and all is well. And then I shared this the other day, but it can slow down from impediments, and that could even be like binge watching TV or something, right? You're not connected. And then it can go into what they call a passive aggressive split. And this is from Hands of Light by Barbara Ann Brennan. And that's like a battle. That's literally like your crown is in battle between dark and light. And you see the above, Todd, which wolf will you feed? There's a whole story to that. But some people would say, well, you want to feed the white wolf, right? And that's the battle that you're in. And actually, yeah, if you don't end up feeding the right wolf, you can get reversed. So that's what was happening, is that the nicotine was reversing his crown chakra. It was taking over. And we'd literally have a video of it correcting it. It's kind of cool how it works. But yeah, so that's one. Okay. So in your book, you've got, if you're in your workbooks, you've got 4 quantum solutions. And so one of the solutions is that your crown chakra is connected to that quantum body. Okay. They're all connected, but the crown definitely, because it is a sourcing right from your quantum field. And so correcting your crown is a solution to a lot of things. Like when you go into shame, into a really low energy frequency, it can help correct it, right? It's like anytime you're giving your power away to a low frequency, you want to bring back your source. And so it will help facilitate that. Anything else you want to say on that? Well, okay, I am going to share, this is not for everybody in the audience necessarily, but there are some, I'm sure. And that a year later, Todd is celebrating or is experiencing something really powerful this weekend. And for those who have a background in LDS, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, babe.
He's being ordained an elder tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
That's 1 full year free of the demons.
Awesome stuff.
It's awesome stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's one. I also want to share, I mentioned the formulas. We have all 16 formulas on our dresser. And so we just kind of, Tamara's laughing. Yep, it's not, we could find a better way to organize it, but they're right there. So that in the morning, like when you're just getting out of bed and you're like, your energy's just like, I don't know what I need. What do I need today? They're right there. And so if you're interested in that, that's number 2. So that's an opportunity to work with your quantum body and to help correct that. And in the workbook, it has the frequencyformulas.com if you want to know more about that. And I think we can put it in the chat as well. So what would you have to say about the formulas? That was on our first date. Okay, so you have to know, Todd and I had not met each other. I did not date anybody else. I did not text anybody else. He smiled at me online, and from the quantum field, I knew he was the one. I actually didn't know, but we started texting, and I first of all had to put him in his place. I am not that kind of single site person. And he worked really quickly to up level. I'll just tell you that. And so, but when I did say, okay, you have passed my initial, gates, and we met each other for the first time. First of all, we went to a Richard Paul Evans book launch of guess whose book? Vinny's book launch. It was that same weekend. Okay. And so I had already worked with Vinny. Vinny had a really good judge of, and he can see, I mean, he's been on the other side so he's got gifts, right? And so I checked in with Vinny as we're walking through the line and getting our book signed to say, what do you think of him? And Vinny did a quick scan on Todd's entire morphogenetic field. And he said, you got a good one. And so that was cool. And then from there, we went back to his sober living, and I pulled out the formulas. I said, okay, I know you're a good one, but I bet you could use a little bit of support with that. And so, do you remember taking them the first times? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, okay, you got everybody remember.
I
was used to addiction. She gave me these little bottles of imprinted water, and I'm like, this doesn't do anything. I'm waiting for the Big Bang or the cream filling or whatever I'm looking for. And it wasn't the Big Bang or anything. It was imprinted water. And I started thinking about it, and I think we're talking about energy solutions here in quantum solutions. So I thought about it as if it's imprinted water, and it's like putting pardon me going back to the disk drive or the floppy disk or even the CD disk, but some of you may not remember those days. I think a lot of us do. But it's literally a program for our bodies. So she talks about all the ones we have on our nightstand, on our bureau, and I'll just walk up to it and my energy will actually reach out and grab which one I want. It's not the same ones every day. I usually do joyful balance every day, but there are many others that my hand will just reach to and use every day that I could use a little bit more help with that on that day. Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like you can use muscle testing with them, and you can do them in an order, but it's basically a way to correct the field, information field. And so it's like getting a biofeedback session just in a bottle. And so depending on which arena you need it in, so it can help with spine alignment. It can help with definitely mood, because all the ones that work with your brain chemistry, and endocrine balance. That's a tough one. I started taking that, and it really shifted my hormonal balance, which had been an issue my whole life. It can reverse disease, all kinds of good stuff. So, all right, we don't have time to get into that, but we're going to spend a good 5 minutes going over absolute truths. So this is an HHT technique. This is your third quantum solution. It's in your book or your workbook, and I'm also going to pull it up, and Todd's going to walk you through this. So think about some things that you want to shift in your life. It works along the lines of affirmation. So like the formulas work with affirmations. These are similar in that, we bring up an affirmative kind of concept with it. I'm trying to find my book. Okay.
You want me to explain it really quick?
Yes, please do.
So the absolute truths work on what's called, sorry, I was just replying to Jana, our friend Jana that I met at 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐸. Law of reverse effect. In nature, in mankind and humanity, everything works on the law of reverse effect. It's what Janie talks about in her book, but what we're doing here is with the habits that we have on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll write down everything that's absolutely true about yourself. My name is Todd. I am 53 years old.
Write it in.
Right in those areas. Absolutely, irrefutably true. Nothing can change it. Like, it doesn't matter if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, that's still true about you. And then on the right side, you're going to write your I am statements, or what you're working on, what you're achieving or striving to be. And as you go through these, this is all about the subconscious, you guys. And that's what 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 material is. It's really programming on top of old habits and old behaviors that we have. So we'll go through this, and Cristine's written down I can't scroll her, she's got control of the board, but she's written down the way it works. There's the reading order. So you'll go through, and you're for lack of a better term, you're tricking your subconscious into this new I am statement, along with what's already absolutely true. So if all these things are absolutely true about yourself, and you're adding in this program, because our subconscious runs on programs, odd numbers, by the way, mostly, it likes best. You're adding in these I am statements, then you're automatically really just reaffirming that you're already that, whatever that is, whatever that I am statement is you're working on. I put this on, we have it on our mirror. It hasn't been on there for a couple months now, but I have it on my mirror usually in our master bath. I put a lot of affirmations and things like that on our mirror so I can see them every day. That's what you want to do. You want to see things like this every day, because it's going into your subconscious. Your subconscious just controls 90% of what your brain does. So anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell. Did I do all right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Cristine posts like matter there, and where it came from, and giving credit to Janie Marvin, my mentor. You can, like I say, you can look Janie Marvin up, and all her books are on Amazon still, and all her materials still on YouTube and stuff like that. I still have a couple friends who were my mentors that taught this, so we're going to get more of this out. Rest in peace, Janie. She's been gone a year now, but she will live in my heart forever. She saved my life. So anyway, that's how the absolute truths work. Good stuff.
So I'm going to do an example,
Okay.
and I won't do the whole thing, but I'll give you kind of how it works. Okay, you ready? And I hurried and did this, but this is the kind of thing you can do. All right. So you'll see this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. And so what you're doing is you're stating something true, and then you're following with something that you would like to be true, but your subconscious may not believe yet. So here's my example. My name is Cristine. I'm 56 years old. I live in Hiram. My eyes are green. I am a mother. My hormones are balanced. My name is Cristine. I'm 56 years old. I live in Hiram. My eyes are green. My hormones are balanced. I attract high frequency people into my business. My name is Cristine. I'm 56 years old. I live in Hiram. My hormones are balanced. I attract high frequency people into my business. My children feel my love. My name is Cristine. I'm 56 years old. My hormones are balanced. I attract high frequency people into my business. My children feel my love. My business is financially successful. You can see the things I'm working on. So that's the idea. And then I would do 1 and then A, B, C, D, E. So the thing that I've done to kind of switch it up a little is do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then go E, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, E, D, because you heard me say my hormones are balanced like 5 times. But what if I want to hear E 5 times? Then you just flip it, right? And then you can go back and do the other way. Because Todd said you do odd numbers is more effective.
Your subconscious, yeah, that was part of Janie's research, and she would literally, little more about her, like when she was writing these books, and her partner and friend, Linda Dimmick, who has also passed on us, Janie would stay up all night researching, and she would look up literally the definition of a single word, as small as do, and by the way, don't does not compute in the human brain for some reason, the word don't. That's what she found out. Refute it if you want, but anyway, she'd do all this research, and she'd do all this writing in these books, and she'd wake up the next morning, and Linda would ask her, what's this about, Jane? Did you write this? And Jane would say, I don't remember writing that. So she would literally get up in the middle of the night and be doing this writing. Call it from a higher source, call it whatever you want. So a lot of this is like has been gifted to us. And yes, but back to Cristine's question, subconscious computes in odd numbers. So do this like in an odd number of segments or times. If you struggle like me with reading comprehension and getting something out of your reading, or you got the squirrels and rabbits and butterflies or whatever when you're reading, do it in an odd number.
He doesn't have just squirrels. He has squirrel, bat, snake, whatever.
Yeah, so I got all those. So when I read, what I do now is I go through and I quick scan. Like I'm not even looking, but my subconscious is taking in everything all over on the pages. Like as humans, as I sit in the room, or you sit in the room where you're at, you're literally taking in billions of bits of information to your subconscious. You can't obviously process all that, so your conscious processes that in tiny, tiny amounts so that you don't go crazy with everything that's going on around you. But your subconscious taking in, go through the pages that you need, whether it's for a test or something important to you. Go through the pages the first time, then scan it the second time around, read a bit here and there, and then the third time you can read it. It's like literally.
And it's good to do it out loud. But honey, I have to interject. It is 11:11. That is why things had to change in the schedule. Because Todd, I actually had on my vision board. So this is like a vision boarding thing. I had 11:11 on my vision board before I met Todd, and I knew I was attracting, and it has something to do with the double door. And there's a whole part in the book, Being at Zero, about it. And I guess when we were married, 11/11/22. So it was good. All right. I'm going to do some responses in the chat while you guys get to hear about, okay, the fourth quantum thing is meditation. Meditation is powerful. Todd talks about Joe Dispenza. We actually did a Joe Dispenza advanced retreat. It was incredible. And there's a whole story about that too. But anyway, but he needs dopamine in his meditation. I like endorphins in my meditation. So I do more the like we learned from Samantha Akers. So it just depends, but do some meditation. And if you're curious about quantum wholeness meditation, that's Joanne's going to play this video that I spent a minute putting together, and Tamara's in it. It's really cute. She hasn't seen it yet. Just know you're adorable. Okay, she's going to play it. And then I'm going to introduce Tamara. Thank you, Todd. You did great.
Hi, I'm Tamara Lang, and I absolutely love Cristine's liberation training today. I love being able to do some personal work and have some one-on-one time with Cristine. The food was amazing. It was just a really great day. I'd highly recommend this class to all my friends.
Coming on like 10 years that I've been working with this specific problem. But today it finally shifted for the first time. Cristine, she's just really good at reading these things, and she could even tell that some of the stuff I was dealing with wasn't just me. There were other things influencing. It's almost like a weight was taken off of me so that I can actually heal.
I grew up in a very conservative household, and energy work wasn't really a thing that we ever talked about. No one ever said this, but the impression I got as a child was it was sketchy. It couldn't be trusted. So it was never something that I looked into. So I remember even as a young teen, I remember getting these feelings that I was supposed to do something great in this world and that I would have an impact. And I didn't know what it would be. I just felt it. Okay, I'm gonna do great things. And so my life just felt like nothing was wrong. I have a wonderful marriage. I have wonderful children. We're not homeless. We have all the necessities and everything, but I just felt like everything in my life was so mediocre. I wasn't the super mom I wanted to be, the super wife I wanted to be, the super leader in my business that I wanted to be. It just got to a point that I was just so frustrated, and I remember exactly where I was when I was kind of pouring my heart out to God and was just kind of treading water. I was just barely keeping it together. All of a sudden I realized that subconsciously, I had never consciously said it out loud. It was that day that I subconsciously realized that I was asking, what's wrong with me? because I was seeing other people seeming to do amazing things, and I knew inside that I could and that I was going to, but I couldn't seem to get it out. So I just figured something must be, like, I must be broken, you know, something must be wrong with me. I needed to be fixed. And I had this thought like drop into my mind so powerfully, and it said, that's the wrong question. I can't answer that question. And I realized that the impression that came was there was nothing wrong with me. So that's why the heavens seemed so silent. You know, I was always praying for help and to be able to accomplish these big things, and I kept failing and failing, and like, clearly there's something I'm missing. So what more do I need to understand? And then another thought dropped in. It was like a gong, like, that's the right question. What more do I need to understand? Before that, I thought I had all the tools I needed. And so since it wasn't working, then the problem must be me. Then I became open to, oh, there must be other tools then, or there must be more I can understand. But just kind of opening myself up, and then things just started to come to me. Like, I didn't go searching for anything, but someone would show up and share a little nugget of something, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this makes so much sense. This is why. And I would like integrate that, and then something else would show up, and I'd be like, oh, that plus this, something else would show up. Just that openness, and what more do I need to know? Things just started coming, and it came when I was ready, you know, like one thing, and I would integrate. And I was hesitant with some of them, you know, they would show up and I'd be like, I don't know about this, but then it would show up from another source, and I'd be like, okay, it's not like, oh, you have to throw out everything you were ever raised with. That's not the case. I feel like I still have the foundation and the good that I had in the beginning, but I've just been open, and all these other things have just built on top of it. So the first thing that I did with her was a love solve session with my husband. So we met with Cristine and did a love solve thing. It was like a 2-day thing that we did with her, and that was massive. It helped me break through. I didn't realize how much guilt I had, and part of that I think was from my upbringing. I'm a perfectionist. You know, I kind of beat myself up for that, and try and use guilt and shame to like motivate me to get to the top level, you know. And so it was that love solve session with Cristine and working through the wells. And when we got to the guilt well, it was like the floodgates open. I just like sobbed and wrote like pages of all the things I felt guilty for. And that was a huge breakthrough. And basically my angels had been telling me for a little while that there's kind of a curriculum for whichever way I wanted to go. I have a lot of tools now, so I can keep going down that path, and I can just use what I already have and go down that path, or I can invest in myself and go down that path. There's no right or wrong, and my angels had already told me, let us take care of this. It may not all work out perfectly right off the bat, and that money may not show up right when I expect it to show up, but I've turned that over to my angels, so I'm not worried about it. Like, I couldn't in my wildest dreams imagine or think up or even know to ask for what they have in store for me.
Thank you. Okay, so Joanne's going to put up a link to, if you want to know more about liberation training, the other ways to connect with me, because if you're trying to figure out what I do, I don't have an easy answer to that, or but it really helps if you fill out the survey. So we'll have her put the survey back in there too. Link to the survey. And then if you want to have a conversation with me, that's the next, you know, so now there's the next 3 things. So have a book a conversation, fill out the day 5 survey, or go on to the site where you can learn more about liberation training. And let's stay connected, because this is powerful stuff.